Everyone tried to drive away from this cursed place. This has also led to severe congestion in this area, a scene where one can barely move an inch. And now, there is a pile of rubble at the entrance. Seeing this scene, one is isolated from here to Tianai City. After a moment of silent contemplation, Nan Nan Tao, no wonder there are so many zombies on this highway. If these zombies swarm in, I'm afraid the number of zombies in Tianai City will multiply several times. These zombies, the highest is only 2 items. In the silence of this moment, they are nothing but large quantities of gold boxes. Qiong can also advance. The required number of gold boxes is extremely large. Moreover, now I have a dazzling Qiong Qi and Xiaoxi god. Such a great opportunity. Silence will not miss anything. Come out, Xiaoxi Shen. Silent eyes shine brightly. Qiong can also be activated. Rumbling. In front of me lies a wasteland. Suddenly, a colossal creature appeared. Even the field of vision has been obscured a lot. After devouring the corpses of the zombies in the city center before, on the body of the Xiaoxi god, the wound cut open by the giant metal sword. It has also healed quite a bit. But there is still a deep scar. Upon seeing so much food here, the Xiaoxi god let out a joyful sound. He silently smiled with a grin. There is no one here. Xiaoxi, you can indulge yourself thoroughly. Qiong, you go too. How much to eat? It's up to you. After receiving the master's command, Xiaoxi Shen let out a chirp. The zombies in the Fangyuan Ridge were suddenly startled by this sound, rushing towards this meat slaughterhouse in overwhelming force. The god of longevity extended his plump, fair hand, swept across. Luxury cars were crushed directly in his palm, with a single strike. Then he grabbed 2 or 3 dozen heads. The struggling and howling zombie. He opened his blood-red mouth, swallowed one by one, the sound of crunching as it shoots. Meanwhile, the impoverished Kai, equally unwilling to back down, a low growl, transformed into a shooting star, directly pounce into the zombie horde, continuously biting and slapping. The scene was extremely bloody. Countless splashes of blood. 2 terrifying monsters engaging in a brutal massacre. Early apocalypse, regardless of whether it's a form or a deity. This is already worse than an ordinary zombie. An existence several times stronger. Don't mention it. There is also a 4th-tier apocalypse deity. The god of longevity is here. Completely crushed. Rumbling sound. The ground beneath is trembling. Xiaoxi god sits on the ground. 2 chubby, plump hands grab a large group of zombies. After finishing with the left hand, eat with the right hand. And at the spine, that deep and enormous wound. Surprisingly, it also grew fine little flesh buds. Still wriggling continuously. Silent, expressionless. Holding the ghost blade, directly slit open the abdomen of a 2nd-tier zombie. Tear it apart, the ghost blade in hand. Ripples of waves rise one after another. A drop of black liquid surged from within, directly towards the zombie's head. Leaped away. Pachai, extremely relaxed. He was struck, creating a bloody hole. The zombie struggled weakly for a moment, then fell to the ground, motionless. Zombies on the highway, because no one has ever cleaned it. A wave of them kept pouring in, as if boundless and endless. If it weren't for the assistance of Giki, Xiaojishan, and Qiong Qi, even if it's a Tier 3 ability user, I'm afraid they will all be buried under this massive horde of zombies. Exhausted, silently glanced at the distance. Another wave of zombies is coming. If this continues like this, Zombies within several miles are coming this way. The silent ice shimmered here for a moment. After the master of supernatural powers breaks through to the third tier, let's set off. Using the heavenly fist ability, Silence gave an order to Qiong Qi. The Qiong god let out a deafening sound. Then there was a rumble, accompanied by a thunderous roar and thick fog. Suddenly lay on the ground. After eating over 1,000 zombies, Qiong Qi has wounds on his body. It has returned to its original state, lazily lying on the ground, as if it were dead, motionless, at this highway junction, like a Mount Tai that separates two realms. Unshakable. Let the zombies on the other side be. How to tear, grab, and bite. It can't even be broken open at all. His defense after that rough meet. Silently gazing at the vast expanse of corpses before me, and on this high-speed wasteland. The air was thick with viscous blood. Spoke up. Qiong Qi, it's time to get to work. These gold boxes, one should have enough power to control their abilities. Advanced to the third level. At this moment, inside the 6th Military District of North China. The rules here are strict. From the outside to the inside. Each one has their own. Stand up straight. Fully armed soldiers are patrolling inside. Outside are towering walls, as solid as a copper wall and iron wall, unbreakable. In the conference room, Zhang Heifeng lowered his head in reverence. I dared not look at the middle-aged man in front of me. Across from it, a well-dressed individual, wearing glasses, a middle-aged man somewhat similar to Uncle Lin. Calm demeanor. The man in front of me specially traveled from the safest central area. A middle-aged man holds a file, with lowered eyes, unable to see the joy and anger. This matter, the old man already knows. Speak. That day, you and your group, so many people are taking action. Can't we handle an ordinary person? What exactly happened? Facing the middle-aged man before him, Zhang Heifeng for a while. I don't know what to say. Her expression was somewhat serious. After a moment of silence, he finally spoke. Mayor Lin, regarding your son's death, we are also very sorry. But you should know, once a person dies, they cannot be revived. The end of the world has arrived. Those people, the murderer who killed your son, I'm afraid they might be dead that day, although they are all going to catch Chen Mo. But after the apocalypse, if it weren't for Chen Mo, the hundreds of them and the survivors, I'm afraid they will all die. Taking a step back, I also frightened quite a few people. Mayor Lin, isn't this also a kind of achievement? Zhang Heifeng lowered his head, whispered, Bung. Lin's face twisted in a classical manner. He slammed the table in anger. To hell with achievements. It's not your son who's dead. The lives of those survivors. Is my Lin and my son's life less important? Mayor Lin, Zhang Heifeng, you should know. Who is standing behind me? Lin's expression was frantic. Angry threat. Zhang Heifeng saw this. I couldn't help but feel a bit of a chill. The most formidable of the Lin family. It's not this mayor in front of us, but the old man standing behind him, although abdicated. Yet its power remains overwhelming. Even the people from their military district can be mobilized at will. Lin looked like a vengeful spirit at this moment. Well-groomed hair, drooping spine shoes, with both hands propped on the table. The red eye stared fiercely at the lowered head of Zhang Heifeng, completely different from before. He in love and affection, a refined and cultured appearance. He is about to go crazy. In the early days of the apocalypse, my own son has died. My wife has turned into a zombie again. now being detained, even when one is in their own situation, in this safest place. But Lin An did not feel relieved at all. Instead, it was extremely painful. He has seen Uncle Lin's corpse, echoing in my mind every day. Everyone looked at Shuer's tragic appearance with pity. What exactly did Shuer do wrong? How could they treat him this way? Linen is even willing to use 100, 1,000 lives. Uncle Huan Lin is back. Lin An looked at Zheng Heifeng. After a while, then slowly sat down. The voice was hoarse. I don't care about Chen Mo. Who on earth are you? Whether it's a supernatural ability or not. What saved it was still. Whether it's the hero of hundreds of people or not. I want him to pay the price. In 2 days. The Central will dispatch 2 ability users. Come over to assist you. Zheng Heifeng, do you recognize Chen Mo? They are also familiar with his methods. With the help of these 2 people, even if that guy is already dead, I can find it all for you. Lin An said with a fierce expression, Chen Mo, you'd better be dead. Otherwise, I will let you experience it. What does it mean to live a life worse than death? Zheng Heifeng sighed. Lin An said calmly, the old man has recently awakened a special ability. The body has recovered quite a bit. Decided to come out again. You know too. There were just a few spots missing in the center. The old man is getting ready to make up for it. Zheng Heifeng, I think you should understand what I mean. Zheng Heifeng went in. A drop of sweat trickled down his forehead. A sudden jolt in my heart. This is quite something. The old master of the Lin family's tactics. That is evident to all. I didn't expect that. Such is the case in peaceful times. A stable retirement. The building has actually resurfaced again. Incredible. Zheng Heifeng quickly nodded. I understand. Lin and nodded in satisfaction. Dan Dan Dao. Extraordinary times. We must use different methods. You can rest assured. Now, all fronts of the battlefield, there is a sense of division. On this distant day, far from the emperor, whether it's traffic or anything else, it's all quite inconvenient. Zheng Heifeng, it is a special time now. I know you've always been hindered by the reasons for certain events. Mingming is here. I've been doing this for over 20 years. But they just can't come up. If we don't handle this matter properly. In the future, the 6th War Zone, you have Zheng Heifeng's position. Hiring. Just cater to their preferences. Using both kindness and punishment. Lin An, clearly it is. I have mastered this skill to perfection. Zheng Heifeng trembled all over. After Lin An left, Zheng Heifeng looked at the table. About the silent archives, the eyes kept sparkling. I wonder what they are thinking. On the other side, it wasn't until midnight. Silence and Qiong Qi just finished counting these gold boxes. Until now, there is a total of 19 bottles of F Restoration Potion, 23 second-order golden boxes, with 130 first-order golden boxes. On this highway, a bountiful harvest. But most of the zombies, along with the golden box, they were all eaten by Qiong Qi and Shaoxi Shen. Silently looking at the waist pouch, the golden box has been collected. Master of extraordinary abilities, it's about the same. You can start advancing to the 3rd level now. Take those 2nd level gold boxes. They all took it out. Silence cradles it in the palm of the hand. Began to secretly absorb. Energy in the golden box. A seed. 2 beads. 3 stars. Until the 7th one. 2nd-order golden box time. Mastering supernatural powers. Finally, it has expanded a bit. 40 meters. and the silent absorption, still continuing. The abilities of the fourth order and below absorb the golden box, enhancing the effects of abilities and subtle energies. It can continuously strengthen physical fitness, the criteria for judging external abilities of the sovereign. Generally speaking, it all depends on the range of the supernatural abilities. Come and judge a few levels. 100 meters. It is the standard for a third level mutant. Once it reached the fourth stage, the gap in abilities will be immense. Demonstrate miraculous power. At that time, the most accurate judgment method. It is undoubtedly made using special military district production. Instrument for measuring supernatural powers. When using the Tianquan abilities before, my own dominion ability has broken through a limit, arrived at 100 meters. Silently keeping my eyes shut. Golden boxes, one by one. The power is constantly being drained from my hands. As time goes on, the improvement brought by the golden box becomes smaller. Absorb all 23 second-tier gold boxes. The mastery of supernatural abilities barely reaches a range of 90 meters. The number of gold boxes needed is immense. Silence began to absorb the first-level golden box. Although possessing dual abilities, the daily intake of golden boxes far exceeds that of an ordinary person. But the golden box can only absorb so much in a day. I once calculated. It's just 3 or 4 times that of an ordinary ability user. In other words, 30 or 40 golden boxes. It is the limit of what one can absorb in a day, until the very last golden box, the 40th one. A drop of sweat trickled down his silent forehead. 100 meters. Suddenly, a terrifying ripple surged across the silence. The surrounding metal objects suddenly floated up, a full distance of 100 meters, silently observing everything around. Her eyes kept flickering. With a joyful expression, they said, "Finally, a breakthrough. A day of third-level abilities." After the third level, the massive metal giant ship began to sway. I can now use it a few more times. A wave of intense hunger washed over. Silently, he instinctively prepared to take something from Qiong Qi. However, I found the backpack I carried during the Qiong Qi cup. I don't even know where I got dumped anymore. All the food inside was given by Luo Chanshen. Silence darkened his expression. They must be on their way. It must have been lost during the battle with the Shaoxi god. Giant Shaoxi Shen and Qiong Qi are fast asleep. These two are a kind of deity. There's no need for normal human food at all. Just need to eat those zombies. Can replenish the food in the body. Silence dug into me. After searching for a long time, finally took out a few gold boxes. There's still a pack of little bear cookies. Yet Kiki didn't know when it was stuffed into his own pocket. Silence doesn't care about so much anymore. He started munching directly with a crunch, while eating the little bear cookies. Chenmo picked up a sharp steel rod from the ground, started drawing on the ground, wrote down a few names. Libin City, Huibai City, Chuanyuan City, Tianhai City. A total of dozens of provinces and cities were marked one after another. The silent eyes kept flickering. That year, the original place of appearance can no longer be traced. But according to the military district's news, the news first spread from Libin City. Then comes North China, Chuanyuan, Tianhai City. The year is unlike any deity in the end-of-year market. Whether standing on the mountaintop, Snow Mountain, heavy fog, lava, god of the market at dusk, they are all the same. Everyone rarely leaves their own territory. But the years are different. Every year it emerges to devour countless beings. Even zombies are treated equally. His actions were ethereal and elusive, unbound by any restrictions. And in this year, it can appear randomly in any location. The massacre lasted for a full half-month. In these 10 days, wherever I go, not a blade of grass grows. All creatures cry out. There is still more than a month left. My current strength, when the time comes, sufficient to elevate the dominion ability to the 4th tier. It should be enough to fight against that year's beast. At least, survival is not an issue at all. Silent murmurs. Here, as far as he knows, it should only be around the strength of 5th to 6th rank. During that time, the most powerful supernatural beings in each war zone. It's just a 3rd tier. This life of mine. Already. They were too far ahead of them. At this moment, major military districts. I'm afraid we've only just begun to understand the role of the Golden River. Most ability users, they are all in a newly awakened state. The supreme one. It won't exceed a 2nd tier ability user. If it weren't for these zombies, it also requires gradual progress. I fear silence now. They could all be 6th or 7th tier abilities users. Silence found a comfortable place. Gradually fell asleep. There are many service stations along the highway. Let's go see him tomorrow. The next morning, Silence felt sticky at the corners of the eyes. It's like having a tongue full of pats. It's as if I'm continuously gnawing at myself. Furrowed his brows. Slowly opened his eyes. Qiong Qi, in sight. It is a big face. Qiong Qi is beside. Is constantly growling. Silence wiped away with a hint of helplessness. Looked around. When I saw someone lying on the ground. That snowy white, blinding mountain of flesh. Silently riding on Qiong Qi, he leaped. Arrived at the body of the Qiong god. In the gigantic body of the Qiong god, the other end of isolation, countless things are emerging densely. The wandering zombie body. At a glance, thousands of zombies, blocked by the Qiong god on the other side. It's absolutely hair-raising. It is easy to imagine. If it weren't for what happened last night, the colossal figure of Qiong Shen blocks the way here. How many zombies will come? Qiong Shen, come back. Silence envelops this mountain of flesh, gaining the power of Changquan, directly riding on Qiong Qi, setting off towards Huibai City. When the enormous obstacle of Qiong Shen was removed, a fierce competition for fame. Gang Yang's lost zombie. It came with a direct roar and growl. A crowded place. Belongs to the vast sea. Everyone rushed towards the silence. Want to tear and bite it. Bird, the Qiong Qi beneath me, let out a roar, waving the strong and powerful marsh. A single slap directly sent the oncoming wave away. The zombie was knocked away. The entire body adderly weaves through. Among these zombies, act swiftly. It transformed directly into a yellow afterimage. The silence riding on the back of the Qiong Qi. Looking at so many zombies in front of me, the eyes couldn't help but feel a bit fiery towards these zombies. Each one is a golden river. Expressway. It's truly a great place to hunt in the Golden River. What can be done as one by one they dig away at the Golden River? It's really a waste of time. Moreover, the mastery of one has already reached the 3rd level. The ordinary 1st level Jin has little improvement for itself now. Only when the 2nd tier zombies appear. Only silence can bring it to a halt. Take his life. Amidst the countless zombies, the corpse king that was born, the encirclement became more intense and fierce. In search of food, they hurried on. Silence did not linger here for long. Qiong Qi acted swiftly. His agility is unparalleled, whether it's the broken and shattered ruins or countless lion prides surrounding the congested intersection, can perfectly and effortlessly avoid. Before long, soon arrived at a service station. The silent gaze suddenly brightened. When I saw this only sign, patted the seated Qiong Qi, spoke up. Qiong Qi stops here for a moment. He plans to take a look. In this service station, is there any food that can be used? At this moment, at the highway service station, a place of utter darkness, inside the abandoned small supermarket, flickering with dim sparks. On the ground, all are holes one by one. Suddenly, a faint, scattered sound. Sound began to resonate. In a hole, he had a somewhat shifty appearance. Thief with rat-like eyes, the man with a sallow face and emaciated body. And the man's pea-sized eyes darted around, glanced around. When they saw the wandering zombies, his face showed an expression of immense fear, cautiously climbed out of the pit, afraid of disturbing the surrounding zombies. I want to find those, not yet polluted, food that can still be eaten. The man didn't dare to search for food in the center, because of the surroundings, full of wandering zombies. He could only muster a full measure of caution on the shelves that he had searched countless times around him, searching for food, so hungry. If this can't be found again, then we really have to fight these ghostly things to the death. You murmured anxiously, not sure how much time has passed. He finally found himself on the floor in a small corner, found a whole bag of bread. Kai's eyes suddenly brightened, incredibly ecstatic. Suddenly, HMPH. The gate was unexpectedly opened with great fanfare, open recklessly, the violent roar. Kai felt a shiver run through his body. In an instant, frightened, she collapsed onto the ground, directly burrow into the soil. Oh, my mother! He was scared. The voice trembled slightly. Kai's special ability. It is an earth attribute elemental ability. Bai Jai, called drilling down, not very effective. Abilities, as their name suggests, only capable of drilling down to touch. But after the beginning of this apocalyptic world, he relies on this special ability. Survived with my little girlfriend. At this moment, zombies in the supermarket, all were startled by this voice. They rushed towards the entrance. Okay, a low growl sounded. It turned out to be a ferocious beast resembling a fierce tiger. Zheng directly rushed in, continuously biting at the group of zombies in front. Silence wields the demon blade. With one stroke down, he swiftly beheaded the zombie in front of him. Pachai, when seeing this place, one by one after someone unlocked the robe and opened the soil pit. Silence involuntarily frowned. The eyes sparkled. There is a kind of presence here. So many pits have been dug out. Typical zombie cannot turn into zombie mouse. Silence became slightly alert. I didn't think much about it at all. Directly waving the ghost cutter. Decisively. Quickly resolving the battle here. Good. Thumb. There are intense noises here. Nature has drawn in. Hidden in the hole, pay attention to the round opening. Kai's face turned pale with terror, shivering all over. This roar. Could it be that something has come again? A more powerful zombie. He just wants to get through now. The hole you dug yourself. Run straight back to a safe place. What can be done? I have already promised my girlfriend. This time, if you can't bring back food, then he really has nothing at all. It's embarrassing to go back. Kai gritted his teeth, cautiously peeking out half of the head. when seeing this gruesome sight before me, a herd of zombies, in a scene being mercilessly unraveled by silence and hardship. Just a single glance. Qiong Qi in an instant. It almost scared me out of my wits. Like a turtle, once again it shrank back. Silence and the beast of poverty, reaping the lives of the zombies in this place. Fortunately, there aren't many zombies here. There are just over 20 first-tier heads. Zombies exist. In a short while, then one person and one beast took care of it completely. Silence makes the impoverished strange. Go throw the golden boxes from these zombies' heads. Then we will start right here, searching for edible food. Food touched by zombies, although it will be affected by corruption. But this is still a small supermarket of decent size. Silence searched for a while. Finally, in these shelves, collected some edible supplies. Not much. 4 cans, 6 packs of instant noodles, and 2 bags of ham sausages, plus a few bottles of whole walnut milk. Besides these, others more or less. All have been somewhat affected. It only left some doubts in the silence. The packaging on these foods, it feels incredibly familiar. The only difference is that 8 walnuts, like white instant noodles. Zhangwanzhan ham sausage, it's all bloody piracy. Highway service station, train station store, these places. Except for people, everything is real. Other things, it's all fake. But they all ignored it. As long as it doesn't kill me, it's fine. Silence is not something to care about. But continued the search. Let's see if there's anything we need. Suddenly, in a secluded little corner, Silence discovered a dusty coin. But the bread looks relatively intact. Next to the collapsing shelf not far away, and at that location, there is a hole. A hand suddenly reached out from that hole, sneaking around stealthily. The cat is staring at the bread on the floor. Someone, the silent gaze narrowed, directly through the Chanquan abilities, communicating with the spirit of Qiong Qi. But Qiong Qi instantly transformed into a flash of lightning, like a cat catching a mouse, leaped directly into that pit. Help! A piercing scream echoed through the air. Qiong Qi emerged directly from the cave, carved a slender figure. Cai Mei Shu, the man with the eyes. Qiong Qi closed his eyes tightly. Struggling desperately, he swung his fists. I'm going all out against you. I'm giving it my all. Qiong Qi may roar fiercely with his mouth, but soon the whole person fell down. He wailed in a state of utter despair. Help! I am still young. I don't want to die. Seeing the person captured by Qiong Qi from that cave, the silence turned serious. Then furrowed his brow, spoke up. Qiong Qi, Ban. Qiong Qi directly threw him out. Qiong Qi sat up painfully from the ground. Someone is calling my name. It slowly opened his eyes, staring blankly at the silence. Just feels a bit familiar, as if recalling something. Yuan's eyes suddenly brightened, greatly exceeded expectations. Silence, you are Silence. He instantly showed extreme surprise. The two of them. Kan Hai is a child from the same orphanage class. Qiong Qi felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. In an instant I relaxed. It seems unexpected. I never expected to run into an old acquaintance in this place. It turns out, it's you, Silence. You really can. It really scared me to death. Silently expressionless. Ziji and Qiong Qi. The relationship isn't great. In my memory, when Qiong Qi was very small, frequently bullied myself. Then it was adopted by a family. The relationship between oneself and the circle, not even friends. Silence spoke not a word, yet Qiong Qi was still haunted by lingering fears. Let out a big sigh of relief. "You scared me to death. You scared me to death." Like a rat, he slowly got up from the ground. He patted his sleeves, said with a smile, "Silence. You just now. It really is. You scared me a big jump." Qiong Qi stood up from one side. On one side, quite self-aware, he casually picked up the piece of bread on the ground. Good. At this moment, Qiong Qi stepped forward, let out a low growl at him. Looking at the fierce beast in front of me, Qiong Qi felt a chill run down his spine. The hand froze in mid-air. With a cheerful smile, he said, "Silence. It's been a long time since we last met. Those zombies, it was you who killed them." He recalled the past, the terrifying power of silence. Those zombies, in the hands of silence, not even a single round. No one can pass through. Silence searched for edible food, said softly, seeing silence so unrestrained, searching through that area, the area I have always been too afraid to explore. Qiong Qi unconsciously swallowed. You should know. Those places. Before, there were wandering tree, stone, and zombie-like figures. The round eyes turned around, stepped forward and said, "Hey, Silence. It's been so many years since we last met. I never expected you. The changes are so great now. These years. Are you still in Tao Tie City? Have you never left? Because we are not very familiar with each other. Plus the relationship between the two. It is also limited to the orphanage." Silence didn't really want to pay him any attention. Yes, Qiong Qi is very good at reading people's expressions and emotions. At a glance, I could tell. Silence doesn't seem to want to acknowledge itself. But based on the strength demonstrated by the silence just now, the silence of today, it's not like before. No longer able to bully the weak at will. Qiong Qi chuckled softly. He rubbed his head apologetically. Tone of voice. A faint sense of reverence emerged. With a respectful demeanor, he said, Silence. It's been over 10 years since we last met, hasn't it? I didn't expect that. Meeting again. I can't believe it's in this cursed place. Things have truly changed, and people have become different. Silence. Are you also planning to head to the safe zone? Silence. Safe zone. Qiong Qi, this is the safe zone of Huibai City. The military personnel are all there. Now, several military districts have issued a call to action. As long as we reach each safe zone, then there will be no worries about food and water. And safety. 5 or 6 days ago, when I was in Huangxi City, then I heard this news. Then I took my girlfriend, walking straight all the way, preparing to head to North China. Silent, the classical language, slightly sweaty hands. 5 or 6 days ago. I have long since left that old part of the city, the broadcast along the way. I never paid attention to it myself either. It seems that way. In just under 2 months. On the side of each military region, is the safe zone set up properly? Silence quietly thought. Such rapid speed. Compared to the previous life, it's almost the same. After all, where are the personnel, resources, the place with the most abundant firepower? It is also the safest place in the apocalypse. Yuan opened his eyes and rolled them around. He noticed it. The food collected in silence. He tried to get closer by saying, Silence. It's been so many years since we last met. What have you been up to? Back in the day, the group of us, basically, they have all left. Many people are still living quite well now. Do you remember the orphanage? Is everyone fond of Mayo Mayo? I heard that she was adopted by a wealthy family in Tianai City. They all went abroad. You at that time, if you take the initiative, probably taken away by someone. Chen Mo said softly. A person lives alone. It's quite good, too. The circle is perfectly aligned. Jai and Chen Mo remained expressionless. It seems they don't want to talk about this. He actively ended the topic, said, "That silence. You too. Are you planning to go to the North China region? How about we travel together? We are two old friends. It's been so long since we last met. Together as companions. Trading is safer. If you guess for yourself. There's no way. That's right. Silence should also be a psychic. Moreover, his supernatural ability, it is likely much stronger than oneself. Otherwise, it can't be that easy. They took down those zombies." Silence lingered for a moment, deeply looked at Yuan Kai for a moment. This indifferent and distant gaze. Let the circle open freely. It's a bit creepy. In the apocalypse, as long as you don't mind meddling, it can help avoid many unexpected events. This is the experience summarized by silence. Having my own Qiong Qi and shoeing is enough. Take this guy with you. Only dragging your own pace and falling behind. Silence said softly. No need. I still have important things to do. Food collection is complete. Qiong Qi, done talking. Silence carries the spirit of Qiong Qi. Turning to leave, Yuan opened his eyes wide in disbelief, attempting to persuade Tao. Wait a moment. He and his little girlfriend finally found it. Hidden location. Food from the journey. It's all been eaten long ago. If silence just leaves like this, what else do you eat? Before he could even speak, silence rides on the Qiong Qi. In an instant, silence left this high-speed service station. Only the round opens for one person. Daydreaming here. Yuan Kai couldn't help trembling all over. The expression grew increasingly intense. Sorry, I can't assist with that. Damn it. Can't find food anymore. Me and Zioya. We're all going to starve to death here. The zombies here, just cleared by silence. Yuan Kai endured. A ground covered in thick blood and shattered flesh. With a leisurely expression, he began to flip through. Check if there is any food left. Not available. This is not available either. Still not there. Yuan Kai collapsed directly. His face was filled with anger. Why did Zheng Wu remain silent when leaving? Did not leave any food for himself. This bastard. What a beast. There isn't any food at all. None of them left me anything. It's good that we are still old friends. Doesn't he know? Me and Zioya. It's been many days. Has no one eaten yet? So ruthless. Yuan Kai was so angry that he pounded his chest and stomped his feet. In his eyes, no matter how many zombies silence has killed, that is ultimately a human. It is a person. There's nothing to be afraid of. Isn't it just good luck? Do you possess a powerful supernatural ability? What kind of cow? Yuan Kai angrily burrowed back into the hole. Expressway. Qiong Qi is galloping on this highway, leaving the nearby city. There are not many people living nearby. The zombies encountered around, only a few scattered ones. In the silence of my mind, uncontrollably recalled what Yuan Kai said before. When he was very young, my parents have passed away. I once lived in an orphanage, after spending 4 to 5 years, until my friends beside me, one by one, they were taken away. Then they left the orphanage. choose to work part-time. And in the orphanage, there was a little girl who followed me everywhere. But these memories, it's all just too far away. Until now, silence has already become somewhat blur. If it weren't for seeing Qiong Qi today, many things he might not remember at all. Silence concealed the wandering emotions. Take out that map. He glanced up at the highway sign. Spoke up. Qiong Qi, go in that direction. The seated Qiong Qi let out a low growl, running even faster now. In the following days, Silence and Qiong Qi, almost on a relentless journey, day and night. One person, one beast, distinctly intertwined. Only every time we pass by the high-speed server station, we'll stop to rest for a moment and get some food. Until this day, Silence and Qiong Qi, as usual, on the way. Suddenly, as if noticing something, about 300 meters straight ahead, several enormous trucks, as if it were a checkpoint, directly blocked the way. Outside the truck, there were about 20 to 30 people. That familiar scene. 15 years in the apocalypse. Silence understands naturally. What kind of people are they? It's them. Whispers of silence. These people, at the beginning of the apocalypse. That is a very famous existence. Wolf Observer. After the safe zones in various regions were established, call upon the survivors scattered outside. And the survivors outside want to rush to the military district. Most can only take the highway to get here, these outlaws. It is precisely during this period, specifically blocked at the checkpoint, to collect a large number of gold boxes. Ken Nan Ba Nu. No evil goes unpunished. A long time has passed, until the military region discovered. The survivors who came are few and far between. I just noticed the existence of these people. Send someone to expel these opportunistic wolf watchers. This gradually faded into obscurity. The most laughable thing is, in this lawless end times, often it is these people who live the best. Silent eyes flicker. Before my rebirth, on the way to the military district, because of a lack of ability, I have also been troubled by such people before. After digging for over a month, I finally left with the golden box. However, since we have encountered these people here, that also proves your current position, distance from Huibai City. It should be close now. At this moment, then stuck in traffic on the highway. Outside several large trucks, a group of individuals holding weapons, like ruffians and hooligans, carrying a small stool, sitting there smoking a cigarette. Each one looked content. Crossing my legs, across from them, 5 or 6 looked fearful. The ragged survivors, bound with hands among the crowd, a bald man, with a respectful demeanor. Anbai arrived at a fierce-looking place, in front of the man with 8 faces, but with utmost respect, lit a cigarette for him. Feng Tian is enjoying it again. Took an incredibly deep breath. Yuan Dao, uncle, today, how many survivors have come so far? Feng Tian felt a sudden chill. He opened his mouth and asked. At this moment, the bald man respectfully said, Feng Ji, it's the 6th one. Feng Tian stood up again, arrived in front of that group of survivors. Noticed it, one of the beauties, on the body of a beautiful woman. Crouched down, I reached out recklessly, constantly needing, taking advantage. Bon, not bad, not bad. Among today's batch of survivors, there are indeed 2 women. Looks okay. The woman trembled slightly, enduring such humiliation. She bit down hard, bitten on Feng Tianyu's hand. He Feng Tian again, as if unable to feel pain. let out a chuckle, then gave him a heavy slap. "You bunch of beasts. Let go of my wife." The man beside the woman, with red eyes, he growled low, "Screw you." How to talk to Brother Fang? A little brother directly picked up the stick. It struck the man on the back of his head in an instant. Bum! The man immediately collapsed to the ground, bleeding profusely. Life and death are unknown. The younger brother was taken aback. It seems unexpected. This guy is so fragile. Somehow I stepped forward and touched it. Then, with a gleaming face, he looked up and said, "Feng Qi, he is dead." Well, those survivors, one by one, after the classical prose. The expression was one of horror. The woman was suddenly engulfed in darkness. I fainted and passed out. "He is dead." Feng Tian paused again. "There are no children either. But it's a laughing horse. You damn it. Sai O Wu. Next time, be gentler. One day I'll come at you with a heavy stick. Once you're dead, you're dead. New survivors arrive here every day. Anyway, it's not like we're missing out on much." Feng Tian laughed wildly. "Brothers, you need to know. It is now the end of the world. Let's go. This is the boss around here. Die more people. I don't blame you either. The two women here. Layazi has finished enjoying. Everyone gets a share." A group of people around. They all burst into laughter. Feng Ji is mighty. A life, in the eyes of these outlaws, it's worth absolutely nothing. You bunch of beasts. Karma will catch up with you. At this moment, one of them looked like a survivor of students. The voice growled hoarsely. They cautiously came together in a group. I thought we were almost in Huibai City. Can seek refuge in the military district. Unexpectedly, I encountered this group of beasts here. Oh, the sound lengthens. Feng Tian squinted his eyes. A fleeting glimpse. Cha Yidai glanced over. She smiled and spoke. "Little brother, I see, I see, I see, I see. You still don't quite understand the situation." Feng Tian smiled as he approached the student. He lifted it up with one hand. Then suddenly a punch to his abdomen. Thump! Phew! The student rolled their eyes, spit out a mouthful of blood. Feng Tian tossed it away as if it were garbage. Threw it away. He took a deep breath and said, "HMPH. A group of useless brothers who only know how to seek shelter from the military district is getting things done. But they all have principles. Want to pass the level. Pay the official fees. And contribute 100 first-tier gold boxes to us. You can leave now. Woman, serve our brothers for a week. You can also walk. The Heavenly King has arrived. Same here. If there's nothing at all." Feng Tianyuning chuckled. Her expression was cold. "Then I will send you to the Western Paradise. Here, we are the emperors." "Yeah, Feng Ji, this is already better. You can leave after paying the official fee, if it were Zhao Bing and the others. Even if you paid the official fee, can't leave either." A few survivors present. Her face was as pale as death, pale as a ghost. In this cannibalistic apocalypse, they experienced it for the first time, more terrifying than zombies. It is the human heart. Human heart. Feng Tian extinguished the cigarette in his hand, sat back in his seat, leisurely swaying his legs. He comfortably squinted his eyes. "It feels so good. Even the air. Everything is sweet and fragrant. Feng Ji, that person from yesterday. Not bad at all. It is said that they were once a millionaire influencer. If this were in peacetime, that would cost a good several 100,000. Not just. At least 1,000,000. As soon as this was mentioned, Feng Tian then licked his lips somewhat restlessly. Your little thoughts. You think I don't know? Don't worry. Wait until I'm done playing with it. Just leave him to you all to play with. Test, test. That taste. Thinking of that group of people before the end of the world arrives. Most of them are just a bunch of local hoodlums. And he Feng Tianyu, carrying the weight of a murder case. Originally, I was supposed to serve over 20 years in prison, but unexpectedly, such apocalyptic disasters occurred. Feng Tianyu, who awakened his supernatural abilities. In this apocalyptic world, thriving like a fish in water, one could say it's about living life to the fullest. How joyful it is. Feng Tianyu couldn't help but sigh. It feels so damn good. This is damn it. Only the strong thrive here, freed from all constraints, only with strength above all. Do as you please. Layazi will sleep for a while. Send someone to take this group of survivors back. Don't call me if there's nothing going on. Feng Tianyu spoke up. As soon as he finished speaking, a younger brother beside me spoke up. Feng Ji, look over there. It seems another survivor has arrived. Sai, that person's speed is really fast. Wait a moment. What is he riding? Is that a tiger? The surrounding noise kept ringing out. Many of the younger members present widened their eyes, incredibly watching the fast approaching Qiong Qi and Chenmo. One by one, they grew mouths. Feng Tianyu frowned. He opened his eyes with some displeasure. Damn it. I already said so. Stop bothering me. Could be quick. He then stayed still. What is this thing? The survivors were gazing into the distance. The beast that is drawing closer, and the man on his back. Are you here to save us? The brothers around were all startled, picked up the weapon. Feng Ji, what kind of person is this? Damn it, you startled me. Feng Ji, is this also a capable person? Feng Tianyu quickly realized. His expression darkened. Facing him, the approaching silence. He shouted from afar. Stop right there. Who are you? The silence on the back of Qiong Qi, never heard of it at all, spoke expressionlessly. Qiong Qi sat down, let out a low growl, a slightly floating life afterwards, leaping high into the air. Hush! Pebbles scattered underfoot. The land has all sunk down. This leap, a full 6 or 7 meters, even taller than a truck, simply breathtaking. Whoa! Rao is Feng Tianyu. Could only stare in amazement. It's broken. Feng Ji, this guy. I want to recharge my card. Stop him. Stop him. See that young man burdened with sorrow. Unmoved. Feng Tianyu's expression. In an instant it became icy cold. Ji Layazi's. No one dares to be there yet. Layazi Feng Tianyu's eyelids. The card is inserted underneath. If today you really leave me, then what about Layazi's face? Where to put it? Get down here. Ah, Feng Tianyu waved his hand. Suddenly, the magnetic field within a radius of several dozen meters. In an instant, everything seems to have changed. Unbearable pressure. Let the trucks behind us. All cast subtle shadows. Beside me are my little brothers. Her expression changed dramatically. Quickly came to Feng Tianyu's side. It's broken. Is Brother Feng going to use that move? Sea-level abilities. Gravitational magnetic field. Can manipulate the surrounding magnetic field. Change in the blink of an eye. Feng Tianyu, a first-tier ability user. Can happen in the blink of an eye. Let the gravitational force of the surrounding magnetic field. Increased several times. Just about to leap over the big truck is Qiong Qi, silently felt, the gravity pressing in from all around, falling downward. Bert, silent and strong, eyes slightly squinting, somewhat surprised, glimpsed down at Feng Tianyu below. Ability user, but now the Qiong Qi. It is a second-order type. This little gravity. It can only slow down the speed of the Qiong Qi a little. It cannot change anything. Qiong Qi leaped high once again, seeing one's own all-powerful ability. It unexpectedly expired today. Feng Tianyu couldn't help but feel a great sense of lost face. His gaze grew even colder. I said it. Not paying. No one is allowed to pass. Even if it's the King of Heaven. It's the same when you come. He clapped his hands together, transform into a fist, heavily smashed downwards. HMPH. The surrounding magnetic field became heavier. Even the ground beneath our feet. A slight crack began to appear, and over there, caught in the gravitational field, several survivors. It became even more tragic. They crashed heavily onto the ground. My whole body couldn't move at all. It felt as if it was locked in place. This immense pressure, causing each of them to turn pale, pale as a ghost. Even the 5 organs and 6 bowels are shaking. Even more so, under this intense pressure, fainted directly. Feng Tianyu stared intently at the Qiong Qi in the sky. Mobilize all of my abilities. Pressing toward Qiong Qi. Like a saw hammer, the impact hit him. Qiong Qi quickly adjusted its position, but still in this intense gravity. It fell down. Lions Zhengming fiercely stared at the crowd. The sound was like thunder behind the scenes. When seeing such a massive sight, and the exceptionally fierce Qiong Qi, they have never seen it before. Such a fierce beast. Thus Feng Tianyu's subordinates beside him. One by one, they couldn't help but feel their strength wavering and trembling. He shrank back his head and said, "Feng Qi, what kind of fierce beast is this? Is it a tiger? But why did it grow another pair of legs? In this post-apocalyptic time, they have all seen quite a few of them. But I had never seen such a terrifying and fierce beast before. Of course, not everyone is afraid of the appearance of Qiong Qi. Don't be afraid. Brother Feng is here. Can the sky still be turned?" Feng Tianyu stared intently at the silence across the table. They looked him up and down for a while. He said coldly, "Hello, kid. You are also a supernatural being, right? I was just talking to you. Are you deaf?" Silent and expressionless. Look into the eyes. A group of blue officials in front of me. Couldn't help but frown. The boss is talking to you. A younger brother shouted loudly. Feng Tianyu spoke with a harsh expression. "Kid, if you want to pass, you can. But before passing through the checkpoint, you must first hand over some golden boxes. Ordinary people's words. 100 first-tier gold boxes will be enough. If you were an ability user, then it wouldn't be this price. Ability user. He has also seen quite a few, including in their team of blue officials. Can become the little leader. They are all ability users. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have this ability. Dare to be here, blue official. The surrounding magnetic field and gravity still has not disappeared, but silently and calmly said, 'Move aside. Do you want to die?' But Feng Tianyu dug in his ear, as if they had heard something amusing, laughing heartily. 'Kid, you wouldn't think. Isn't an ability user invincible? I tell you, in front of Layazi, even if you are a dragon, you have to keep it for me too. Even a fox must hold my hand. Do not hand over the 300 gold boxes. Then don't blame me for being rude. Not eating. While speaking, suddenly a terrifying black droplet appeared, leaping towards oneself with a flick of the tongue. The speed is astonishing. The clarity of the goal. Feng Tianyu's pupils dilated sharply. One shrink, feeling the immense killing intent. Suddenly pressed down poorly. Just raise your hand. Use your right hand to block. Release the abnormal magnetic field gravity. But enormous gravity. Directly press down. Silence is a level 3 ability user. The ruler you control, its power is limitless, far from being comparable to ordinary abilities. Under this magnetic field gravity, as if it didn't exist at all, at dark black droplet, it pierced straight through Feng Tianyu's right palm. Pachai, a gory hole suddenly appear. Blood continues to flow. Chanmo said softly, "Next time, it's your head now." Feng Tianyu's whole body trembled violently. This scene, it can be said that he directly brought his little brothers beside him. Every one was dumbfounded. They widened their eyes one by one. Expression on the face, filled with disbelief. Feng Ji actually got injured. How is this possible? Excruciating pain quickly came from the right hand. Feng Tianyu's forehead, a layer of fine sweat emerged. The expression gradually became extremely ferocious. He clutched his bleeding right hand in extreme agony. A wail echoed. "Ah, bastard, bastard! I want to kill you. Who exactly are you?" Such powerful skills, connecting one's magnetic field gravity. Nothing can stop even a tiny bit. Feng Tianyu could hardly imagine. In such a place, I can't believe such a character has appeared. Black water droplets, not a drop of blood was stained, returned to the silence by my side. The scene of silent, cold eyes watching. I originally didn't want to, getting too entangled with these people. But unfortunately, these gatekeepers, it's truly exhausting. I have already given you the opportunity. Say it again. If you don't want to die, just move aside. Rrrt! The Qiong Qi beside me roared. Open your gaping maw, releasing an overwhelming killing intent. Feng Tianyu, sweating profusely from the pain, fierce and menacing, let out a howl of extreme pain. "Everyone get over here! Kill him!" Xiang Ta Feng Tianyu, leading a group of people. On this highway, engaging in evil deeds, lawless and unrestrained, never suffered such a great loss before. His own right palm. Until now, there is still a bloody hole. Even those with strong physical abilities as supernatural beings, they also felt immense pain. Feng Tianyu gritted his teeth against the pain, directly from the pocket, tearing off a piece of white cloth, biting his own right hand, wrapped it up, staring at the silence with red-rimmed eyes. He said fiercely, "You damn it! I won't kill you today. I refuse to be called Feng Tianyu. What the hell are you all standing around for? Everyone, come on." I saw a group of little brothers beside me, holding a weapon, hesitating to step forward. Feng Tianyu shouted angrily, but Brother Feng is a superhuman. There is a younger brother, with a face full of fear, said in fear, even someone as strong as Brother Feng. All their palms were frozen through. Then they each started out one by one. They are all just easy targets. Feng Tianyu blared with wide-open eyes. A terrifying killing intent burst forth from his eyes. Shouted loudly, "With me here you'll have assistance. So many people. What are you afraid of? He has already been affected by my abilities. Got it under control. Just go ahead and do it for me." A group of useless people. Gravitational magnetic field abilities. Once again using Feng Tianyu will adjust the gravitational magnetic field here. Everything has been reduced to only a realm of silence. This is the gravity he can exert. It became even stronger. Ah, silence and the overwhelming pressure of poverty increased exponentially, like carrying 1,000 troops. Even the ground beneath your feet, they all began to split apart. C-class superpower, gravitational magnetic field, silent eye sparkle. At a glance, he saw through Feng Tianyu's ability. The opportunity has already been given. The resources of the Blue Observer, not a few. Good golden box, it's all what I need now, since this group of Landwange, still blind to reality, then one cannot blame oneself. Murder, smuggling, the 5 or 6 younger brothers across the way. They all hesitated, but finally charged forward one by one. They are a group of Blue Observers. It's not like a well-organized line. Most of them are desperate outlaws, even less than what Luo Tianqing has mastered. A large number of weapons and gunfire, one by one, holding. They are just the simplest of machetes and sticks. Bob, avenge Brother Feng, facing the silence and the terrifying beast on the other side, under the control of Feng Tianyu's supernatural ability. Person 5 or 6, they charged straight forward, silently glanced at the Qiong Qi beside him, even too lazy to make a move, but with indifferent eyes said, Qiong Qi, go ahead, just leave one. The meeting of the impoverished Qiong Qi beside me let out a roar, like a tiger entering a flock of sheep, facing the opposite side. Then 5 or 6 people pounced. This terrifying beast, just a glance, it struck fear into the hearts of those 5 or 6 people. One by one their legs went weak, lost the will to fight. Soon a piercing scream echoed through the air. One person was directly struck by Qiong Qi and had both legs broken. No, don't kill me. Spare me my life. Qiong Qi habitually opened its bloody maw aimed at, under the shocked and fearful gazes of everyone. He actually bit off that person's head. At this moment, a few people from Salina. Everyone was so scared that they lost their wits. Weakly and helplessly, rushing toward Feng Tianyu behind me. Feng Tianyu was sweating profusely. He stared fixedly at the person across from him, a face of calm and serene silence. And that terrifying beast. I was shocked in my heart. They both. Doesn't it feel any impact from its own gravitational piercings at all? How is this possible? Feng Tianyu opened his mouth, feeling a bit incredible. Awakening skills in oneself and others. Such a situation has never occurred before. Feng Ji saves. Help! I don't want to die. The once imposing crowd, at this moment in front of Qiong Qi, fled in a panic. Feng Tianyu's expression suddenly changed. Realizing myself today, maybe he kicked something metallic. The eyes kept flickering. Immediately spoke up. Brother, this friend, it was our fault before. You can leave now. This customs duty. We don't want it either. A silent, cold laugh. Some play with taste. Now I've realized clearly. It's late. If we are stopped by this group of blockers, then they will inevitably suffer inhumane torment. I didn't want to get involved in these matters. The happiness left behind by this group of people, survivor, it has nothing to do with me. But since you've brought this upon yourself, then we can only blame them. Bad luck. The silent right hand slightly raised. The master can activate it. A suffocating scene unfolded. Only the truck behind Feng Tianyu and the others was visible. Unexpectedly began to lose control. Gradually drew closer. Even the iron boxes on the truck, it all became distorted. It felt as if an invisible force was moving it. A harsh grinding sound was emitted. With a final bang, those trucks, they unexpectedly collided, blocked the escape route behind. Feng Tianyu's breathing was steady. What the hell is this power? His expression changed suddenly. The expression suddenly turned extremely unpleasant. Looking at the silence, he took a deep breath. Brother, this time it was our fault. Leave a line for others. See you again in the future. You do know, right? Nearby, there are still many of our own people. This is his confidence. The noise here is so loud. It must have already attracted attention. Attention of the guards at several other checkpoints. Silence still wore a calm expression. Yo-Yo began to speak slowly. How many are coming? How many to kill? Feng Tianyu's pupils suddenly constricted. It seems unbelievable. So young before my eyes. It looks like he is just like a student, surprisingly even harsher than oneself. Brr! The roar echoed once again. Qiong Qi's speed is extremely fast, swift and decisive, weaving through the crowd. A direct palm strike. Just got one of them. Blood splatter. A huge wound on the abdomen. Even the intestines were pulled out forcefully by the sound. The person looked utterly horrified, staring blankly at the bloody scene. He didn't even take a second glance. On the other side, a scream was heard. A massacre. One-sided massacre, even if it's a kind of first level, is definitely not something an ordinary person can do. Resist. Moreover, Qiong Qi is a second tier. The magnetic field gravity here. It hardly affects his actions at all. Upon seeing this scene, Feng Tianyu couldn't help but tremble all over. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. What on earth is this monster? He directly took out a first-tier golden box, absorbed the power within, enduring the intense pain. The left hand intertwines with the right hand. Use all your strength. Release the gravitational magnetic field. Wanting for oneself, seize the opportunity to escape. Feng Tianyu's eyes were bloodshot. A hint of blood emerged. Shouted loudly. Gravitational magnetic field. Click, click, click. At this critical moment of life and death, his first order 1 energy gravitational magnetic field unleashed a power that did not belong to the first order. The earth in front of him, gradually cracking into countless fissures, towards Qiong Qi and the spreading silence. It seems he has fallen halfway in. The massive body of Qiong Qi sank several zhang into the ground. Feng Tianyu was overjoyed. Hurriedly towards the twisted big trucks above, crawled over, trying to escape this place. The silent eyes narrowed slightly. Yao Jian Gui Kai. A sharp drop of black water flowed directly out, heading towards Feng Tianyu to kill. Where's the sound of breaking air echoed. At that moment, from behind, a sudden clash echoed in silence. Stop it. A person wearing a black leather jacket. Curly waves are rolling. A voluptuous and fiery woman riding a black motorcycle. The sound of a massive engine roared, rumbling from afar. It may be too late. That drop of black water. It pierced straight through Feng Tianyu's forehead. Even his skull was shattered. Bang! Feng Tianyu is climbing the truck. A shiver ran through his body. Then there was a loud bang. Fell to the ground. A bloody little cut on the forehead. White brain matter continuously flowing, with thick, fresh blood, lifeless. Silence did not waver at the sound, and choose to stop. Suddenly, without warning, glancing back at the person behind. In the distance, the group of people arrived with great momentum, riding in an off-road vehicle. Peek! Some are holding the cart's handles, leaning the body outside. One by one, they held their weapons, coming on strong, witnessing Feng Tianyu's murder. Liao Ruyu in the distance. Her beautiful eyes narrowed. Kaio Lion's face immediately turned extremely angry. "I told you to stop." Buzzin. He rode in swiftly on a black motorcycle, suddenly made a sharp 180-degree turn. The roar of the massive engine was deafening, stopped in place. Liao Ruyu said nothing further. With a lift of her jade hand, a series of howling sounds erupted. A circle of white dresses rippled around. A sudden gust swept through the venue, the fierce and powerful wind, charging towards Silence. Silence furrowed his brow, also a capable person. The Qiong Qi beside me let out a low growl, directly swung a slap, heading towards that group of wind clouds. Scattered it thoroughly. A class ability. Storm. Feng Qi. Yes, Lao Feng has died. In that place with big waves. Behind the voluptuous Liao Ruyu, several large vehicles came to a stop, came down one after another from above, one burly man after another. Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes were filled with coldness, gazing intently at the silence across. Under the black leather trench coat, impressive figure, curvy and shapely, a pair of long legs, full and straight, wearing mid-calf leather boots, charming and seductive. Liao Ruyu said coldly, "It was all you who killed them." Silently calm in demeanor, Duan Mo asked coldly, "Cannot kill?" Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly, exquisite and charming face, full of displeasure, looking at the body scattered on the ground, couldn't help but furrow his brows and said, "Your Excellency, we have no grudges against you. You killed so many of us. Not so good. The methods that this person has just displayed. Clearly, he is also a superpowered individual, and able to go it alone. All the travelers encountered were killed. Absolutely not an ordinary ability user. The fierce beast beside him just interrupted his own storm. This indicates the other party's background. At least a second-tier ability user." Looking at the silent face, for some reason, he always felt a bit familiar, as if, "Where have I seen something similar?" Liao Ruyu recalled carefully. Silently, he observed the woman before him, climbed onto Qiong Qi's back slowly and steadily. "Slowly speak. I am going to Huibai City. What are you doing?" "I can't be bothered, but dare to stop me. Next, I'll be just like those guys. You motherfucker. There are so many of us here. Still dare to speak without shame." The strong man's face was filled with anger. Scolded, "Get on with it. Feng Tian seeks revenge again." "Wait a moment." At this moment, Liao Ruyu spoke up. Her beautiful eyes shimmered. "Under the overwhelming pressure, my heart whispers the heart sutra. Test the path." "You, is it called silence?" Chan Mo Wenian frowned. No one spoke. He knows himself, seeing that the other party did not deny it. Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes shone even brighter. He pondered for a moment. He raised his hand and spoke. "Put down all weapons." "Miss, this." A group of people was somewhat confused. Feng Tian is indeed a sharp tool. He is dead. Liao Ruyu turned her head. They stared at them coldly. "I said to let go. Did you not hear? Ming is a girl. Yet there is an inexplicable intense power within him." The group of younger brothers behind him saw this, had no choice but to put down the weapon in hand. Liao Ruyu looked at the silence, suddenly spoke up. "Friend, can we talk properly? Don't worry. The matter of encountering death again, I won't hold it against you. If you want to go to the military district, then I advise you, it's best not to go there. He knows silence. In the news passed down from the 6th Military District, this person unexpectedly killed Lin and his son, is the #1 wanted criminal. Liao Ruyu looked at the silence with a half smile, but did not reveal their identity either, opened their mouth to speak. You might as well head to the military district. Why not come and be my guest in Longgang? Face changing is incredibly fast. Ming just a second ago. Still enemies who won't rest until one is dead. Seeing this scene, the crowd around, it all feels a bit unbelievable. The strong man sighed. Thought to myself, she is probably a young lady. What new desire for talent has arisen? Feng Tianyu. It was Liao Ruyu who initially, to those who have been recruited. Now, when it comes to giving up, it's just giving up. Silent strength, said coldly. No one tells you. Is your smile fake? Liao Ruyu's smile froze. Silence. Qiong Qi. Let's go. Although I don't understand. Why does she know herself? But I'm too lazy myself, arguing so much with this woman. Since the other party, I didn't mean to start a fight. So the top priority is, let's head to Hue City. Most important, in front of this group of people, the golden box on the body of the deceased Feng Tian and others. Search and gather. Silence and Qiong Qi just wanted to leave this place. Behind me, Liao Ruyu's voice came again. Walk 2 kilometers further ahead. It's someone from Longban. Walk another 4 kilometers. It's still our people. Until Hue City, what you encounter, the city will be ours. Your Excellency, let's have a good talk about how. Silence stopped. Then he grinned, glanced at her. Then you'd better let your people step aside obediently. Otherwise, the next scene here, that is their fate. Liao Ruyu's delicate face suddenly changed. The fullness in the chest. It rose a bit higher. Silence didn't give her any chance to speak. Zhuozaya de Qiong Qi. A low growl echoed, crawling on the ground. Finally, he jumped high into the air. Even the ground. Both holes were crushed. Just turn and leave. Miss, are we not? You let her go so easily. The strong man beside me asked in confusion, uncertain if it's a cold nature. It has always been this way. After seeing the death of Feng Tianyu and his group, I don't feel much about it. The mood is surprisingly calm and tranquil. Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes sparkled. Like a wave, the glossy black hair flowed gracefully. He spoke coldly. What else? Feng Tianyu is no ordinary person. Since one person has killed everyone here, we still have a way to stop it. I already told my uncle a long time ago. Now able to come from afar, they are all inherently weak ability users. Even if Feng Tianyu didn't die today, this loss, it's something that will be eaten sooner or later. They won't even give us guns. Cooperate with them. It's like trying to skin a tiger. Liao Ruyu's face was full of coldness. This thankless task. Only uncle would do that. Before the end of the world. They are the Longgang group. It is the heavy industry of Hue City. Large steel manufacturing enterprise can be involved in the heavy industry sector. Nature has the means to navigate both the light and dark sides. Liao Ruyu. She is also the niece of the chairman of Longgang Group. The strong man frowned, explained. But miss, this is all the chairman's intention. Liao Ruyu raised her hand, said impatiently, I know. Uncle has come to this point today, received a lot of care from that person, but over the years, Is the gift we gave that person still insufficient? In the current apocalypse, our Longang group has such a great influence, also occupying several of the largest steel mills in North China. The timing, the geography, and the people are all favorable. I could have stopped acting according to their moods long ago. Survivors of today, among the great powers, the desire for independence. It's not just the mighty lion that possesses such talent. For ordinary people, this is a natural disaster and man-made catastrophe, a world filled with crises. For those who held high positions before the apocalypse, for a big shot above 10,000 people, as long as not everyone is dead, still doing what needs to be done. Instead, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Liao Ruyu glanced at the corpse on the ground, and not far away, those few survivors. Dan said, "Please take care of the bodies here. I went back once. Wes, what do you want? Go chase. Otherwise, the people in front of us." But they all ended up like Feng Tianyu, dead. Silence. Liao Ruyu's lips curved into a beautiful smile. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. He directly got on the black motorcycle. Storm can be used. A piercing whirlwind suddenly swept through the venue. The motorcycle that was parked suddenly soared into the wind, directly landed on those large trucks. The engine roared as it pursued the path of silence. Ask, ask, ask. The strong man sighed, looked at Feng Tianyu's corpse with some pity. The young lady is cold and indifferent. Seeing this sorrow has come to an end. But it's not the first time. What are you all staring at? Work hard. Qiong Qi's speed is incredibly fast. After a short while, they moved 1 or 2 kilometers. In the not-too-distant front, just as that woman said, there are still a group of blockers stationed here. Restless silence is somewhat annoying. These blockers are almost everywhere at the entrances leading to Huibai City. No matter which entrance you come from, you cannot avoid it. Qiong Qi rushed over. Chen Mo said coldly, "I don't have time to waste with them here." When, okay. Qiong Qi let out a roar, rushing forward recklessly. This massive and majestic tiger, it can be said that it completely stunned the group of people directly in front. Even that level 1 ability user hasn't started using their powers yet. He watched as a huge hole was smashed into the big truck behind him and the others. Rumbling. What the heck? What is that? Damn it. I didn't see it clearly at all. Immediately after, the roar of an engine sounded behind. Liao Ruyu followed closely behind. Sword steps in the distance. The striking and alluring figure on the black motorcycle. The guards here all widened their eyes. "Miss Liao, how did you come here? Everyone get out of my way." Liao Ruyu did not linger here for long. The whole person is sprawled out. On that black motorcycle, the fully swollen wind egg is squeezed. Curvy figure, and the straight, full-bodied thighs. Close to the motorcycle, a head full of flowing waves, rushed through the large hole created by Qiong Qi at incredible speed. Many people were staring with wide eyes. Couldn't help but swallow. Miss Liao's figure is really good. Who says otherwise? The impoverished Kai crossed yet another checkpoint. Still did not stop moving forward. At that moment, behind you, suddenly a sound of reprimand broke through. Wait a moment. Silence slightly calmed down. Looked back for a moment. A look of surprise appeared in her eyes. Only see behind. Liao Ruyu rode her motorcycle, under the blessing of Storm One. The speed almost reached 400 yards. The sign on this highway, like a bolt of black lightning. In just a few breaths, they caught up. Silence paused for a moment. This woman, what are you doing? Liao Rui directly approached Qiong Qi, wearing a helmet, said loudly, I told you to wait. I have something to tell you. Even silence witnessed this scene. It's hard not to feel speechless. Afraid, the poor Kai sat down. Speak softly. Qiong Qi. Stop. Qiong Qi let out a low growl. The massive body stopped on this highway. Suddenly, Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes lit up, also slowed down. Stopped. She took off her helmet, revealed a head of shiny, black waves, delicate features, curvy figure, get off the black motorcycle, approaching the silence. Doesn't refuse at all the existence of Qiong Qi. Instead, he generously extended his hand. My name is Liao Ruyu, the niece of the chairman of Longgang Group. Nice to meet you. Silently stared at her. The opening without any action. Just say what you want to say. I'm in a hurry. Liao Ruyu was taken aback. She believes herself to be, regardless of one's figure, it's still about appearance. All are outstanding. I never expected that what was before me looked like this. A young man much younger than himself. How could you be so indifferent? But she didn't mind, but instead spoke up. Silence. I know you. We're the one who killed Uncle Lin, aren't you? If you wish to seek the protection of the military district, that would be a huge mistake. As soon as these words were spoken, the atmosphere in the venue suddenly turned a few degrees colder. Silent, eyes slightly squinting. The expression gradually turned unfriendly. Who exactly are you? Liao Ruyu smiled brightly, extremely bright and captivating. Didn't I say so? Liao Ruyu. The silent index finger twitched. Bui Kai. It also began to tremble faintly. Do you know? I didn't mean it that way. This time I am heading to Huibai City. It is to find the fish. It's not that early yet. I want to make contact with the military district people. Liao Ruyu was completely indifferent to the silence around her. The unmasked intent to kill. Elder brother chuckled. It seems I remember quite well. I really found someone. You can rest assured. Silence. I have hostility towards you. This news? Not many people know about it. It was still my uncle who told me. Let me pay attention to this. I don't have that ability either. I will send you to the military district. I won't let your message here go outside. Silently stared at him. Dandin said, It seems. Do you still have contact with those from the military district? Liao Ruyu revealed a sly smile. Her beautiful eyes curved into a crescent shape. It looks really beautiful when it opens up, trying to get me to talk. Actually, it doesn't hurt to tell you. I am Longgang Group. Indeed, there is a connection with the military district. It can even be said that we are now representing the military region. You think, without permission from the military district. I, Longgang Group, dare to block the way here without any restraint. Silence brought a hint of interest. I see what you mean. You are still working for the military region. Even before the rebirth. I had never heard of it myself. These early apocalypse gatekeepers, related to the military district. As soon as this woman spoke, it doesn't seem that simple. Liao Ryu stretched lazily, displaying themselves without restraint. Future and skill a proud figure. He said lazily, HMPH. It's all just a matter of interests. Allow the survivors to seek refuge in the safe zone. It is a mandatory order from the central authority, rather than the wishes of those military district bigwigs. Now the massive firepower of various military regions, all have been dispatched. Only those offspring and relatives of the high-ranking officials. Just think about it. The safe zone has just been established, under several military regions. How many more people need to be supported? If the survivors from various places all rushed into the military district, that place of food and shelter, and how should resources be allocated? Speaking of this, Liao Ruyu's face was full of disdain. He said coldly, "So, it wasn't us who stopped these survivors, come seeking refuge, but someone is in the sixth war zone. They are still unwilling to accept them now." Silent, the ancient eyes flicker. I roughly understood his meaning. His expression was calm to the point of indifference. So what? Liao Ruyu kept circling around him. The beautiful eyes curiously observed the silence. Saying so much, "I actually just want to tell you something. I mean you no harm. Even so, we still have a chance to be friends. Can you understand?" Silently, he spoke softly. "Those who follow you are truly pitiful." Liao Rui said indifferently, "Are you talking about Feng Tianyu? That guy wouldn't have any abilities if it weren't for his supernatural power. I got rid of them a long time ago. The reputation of our Longbang group, all will be ruined by the wife. But speaking of which, you have some nerve. It is truly grand." Silence. "Do you really know? Many people in the 6th Army District now, they have all gone to Tianai City, preparing to capture you for merit. At this point, how dare you come to Hue by City alone? I should say, you are too confident." Still unaware of the danger, Liao Ruyu said with a smile, "However, you are lucky. Met me. You can rest assured. Your message here, I won't be spread outside. But as a condition, you need to cooperate with Longang. How are you?" The silent fingertips of the right hand moved slightly. In an instant, each piece refined from metal, a razor-sharp blade floats. They focused on him from all directions. "As long as I want, you will soon become a hedgehog." Silent path. Seeing this scene, Liao Ruyu felt a slight shock in her heart. This guy, as expected, it truly is a military district. It is the military district. It is the military district.